Cooperative National League 1, the top two going head-to-head. The top side, Salford, ahead at the moment, 24-10. Halifax needs something spectacular early on in this second half to unsettle the Reds and get their way back into this game, because that first place is going to be a distant prospect if they lose this one.
I don't know whether spectacular is the word, Bill. I think they just need to concentrate. They need to get back to knocking the sets out and try and apply some kind of pressure onto this Salford side. They've proved that once they get down on the line, Halifax have the ability to come away with something. Just a little bit of discipline in attack and defence is what's called for.
Myler with the kick, outside the 40, bellows Dave Merrick, the referee, and that ball goes dead. Well, let's hear from one of the injured Halifax players, a missing player for them, a key man missing tonight. Graham Holroyd is on the sidelines with Ben.
Graham, we understand it's a groin problem first of all. You did have a late fitness test. Can you update us on your condition?
Yeah, I was probably about 50-50 going into the game, and I just felt it pulling as I was running and turning in the fitness test. It's been a short turnaround this week. We're playing Whitehaven on the Sunday and obviously playing tonight on the Thursday, so maybe on the Sunday I might have been to maybe 70-30 to play, but as I say, it's just one of them things. I don't feel we're back next week.
And of course you already shown that you can come back from 24-0 down at Salford earlier in the season, so this game far from over. Yeah,
we've come back in a few games this year, and obviously they just scored at the death at their place, but as I say, we've got a scrum now. Hopefully we can capitalise on that, build a bit of pressure and be the first to score.
And as a former Salford player, crucial that you try and get the victory tonight to stop Salford getting up any more momentum on you points wise.
Yeah, I think if they do win tonight, it might be there's 3 games to go, and we're just going to concentrate on ourselves and hopefully get the 9 points that we need, and obviously going into the playoffs that'll be great form for us. So if they do win, it's not end of the dark day for us, but as I say, it's going to be all right.
Thanks very much, Graham.
Halifax in possession then from that knock on by Robbie Paul, and that's just what they wanted. They need to capitalise on that now, as Graham Holroyd said. They're in possession. Paul Southern, who is tackled right in front of those Salford posts. Here's Ben Black. Black finds Flanagan. Flanagan's ball away. That's a great pass, and it finds Gibson. It was forward. It was forward from James Haley, says referee Dave Merrick.
Oh, I'm not sure about that, as we'll see it on the replay. It's a great bit of skill. It might just have been a touch forward. We'll give Dave Merrick the benefit of the doubt.
But Haley was still moving forward when he passed the ball.
On second and third look here, I think it travels forward. If you look at the lines on the pitch, I think it does. But very encouraging start there from Halifax.
And a warning to Salford, they can't afford to make errors in their own half like that.
Graham Holroyd touched on it, and he said we've got to build pressure. You've got to improve the discipline, because they're coming up with too many missed tackles. The completion rate in that first half was 50%, and what you've got to do, you must complete your sets. You must get in the right part of the field position to score tries against this Salford side. So it would have gone out, the Salford players, Matt Callan would have said to his players, you've got to improve your discipline, control the ball, control the ruck, you've got a chance of winning the game.
Well, this is a crucial phase of the game, you feel, for Halifax. If they are going to get back into this game, they've got to make some inroads into that Salford lead now. Greenwood just adjusts that ball, shall we say, as he took it. Very nearly got away from him. Gibson in there, denied a second try just a moment ago.
There was a very telling statistic at the bottom of the screen then. Halifax's completion rate was 47%. That's nowhere near good enough. Teams like to work on 75, sometimes 80%, but that's way below the levels needed.
Halifax in possession with Coyle for Goddard. Goddard is tackled, that's the 4th tackle, and it's just inside. Matt Callan urging his side on from the sidelines. Joe Walsh steps away from the first tackle, the on-loan player from Harlequins. Dad Steve used to be a conditioner here at Halifax. Black, well, he's going to return the compliment, but it's not a good kick. And it's come down for Gibson, and it's gone forward from James Haley, and it all comes to a pretty unspectacular end, that set of 6 for Halifax.
Ben Black probably should have put the ball a bit deeper. Damien Gibson losing the ball there. Stuart Littler didn't make any attempt to get that ball because of the pressure that he was being put under.
Salford have barely been out of their own half so far in this second half. And Halifax trying to make sure that they don't make too much progress now as Luluai is stopped. It's Gleeson leading the tackling there anyway. Myler now looking for a gap. Walsh meets him head on. Goddard was there as well. Sean McRae certainly not breathing easily yet, knows there's a long way to go in this game.
It just goes to show if you turn the opposition on the back, how much the line speed of your defence improves, because the first half they weren't doing that. Second half they've started off so strong, but they've got to really control it.
Littler's pass wasn't picked up, but they'll go back for the penalty because I think there was a Salford player taken out as Littler tried to offload that ball.
You're right, Bill. Dave Merrick waved play on, tried to see the advantage just at the top of the screen. Paul Southern.
Well, that's where you get between former club mates, Heighton and Southern.
I'm not sure who'd have won in a race there between those two. Slug on slug, I think.
So the penalty puts Salford in a good strong position deep in the Halifax half, and Sibbett, legs pumping, takes them a bit further forward. Robbie Paul dummies to the right, goes to the left, and Paul White goes to ground. There was not a lot on for him then. Robbie Paul again. Alka. Flanagan with the tackle. James Haley in support. Robbie Paul. Luluai on the charge. And again, that's good defence, and it's Paul Southern standing firm to stop the big Samoan charger. Robbie Paul, Myler now. Myler to Jordan Turner. Turner away from the first tackler, almost over. That's the fifth tackle though. Can Halifax escape here? They go on the short side. Wilshire puts the kick in, and it's just hacked dead by Lee Patterson.
And they'll tell you that they've got options all over the pitch with Robbie Paul and Richie Myler. They've split the half-backs. Johnny Wiltshire takes the ball to the line, but they just look so dangerous. They've got so many options, and that's what the Halifax defence are scared of. There's so many players moving up, and he just had to make a play for that Lee Patterson.
Perfectly weighted kick from Wiltshire, and Matt Gardner was sniffing around there for another try, and here he is now on the charge.
Was well met by Gleeson though. Gleeson's been very quiet. We've only seen one dart from dummy half from him. He just needs those Halifax forwards to get going, get some space, and he'll expose those Salford players, those tired big fellas in the middle.
Gleeson very important to Halifax at the moment, with Sean Penkovic, the regular hooker for Halifax, out injured at the moment, a broken hand. And here goes Wiltshire again. Wiltshire trying to get on the outside. Patterson with the tackle. There is Gardner. Here's Myler now. Myler. Heighton on the charge. That's the fifth tackle. Heighton will play the ball just a couple of metres away from that Halifax try line. Myler puts the kick in. It ricochets into the hands of Ben Black, and they'll come back for the penalty. Offside against Halifax, and fury from the Halifax supporters. And Dave Merrick feeling the hot breath of those Halifax fans on his neck.
You could see Paul Southern in front of Dave Merrick. He was stood right at the side of him. Dave Merrick had no option but to give that penalty.
A brave referee. He's got 1,000 or so Halifax fans right behind him.
But it's that rule again, Bill. Get 2 feet behind the line. Paul Southern had his back foot on the line. There's no excuse on your own line to give a penalty away. But Paul Southern, one of the oldest statesmen in this Halifax squad, playing on 2005, 2006 rules, and it's him who gets his foot to the ball.
So this to extend Salford's lead, and Halifax, who started this second half so well, about to go further behind. That try disallowed from Damien Gibson. Ben Black almost away there, only to be called back for a penalty, which has resulted in 2 more points from the boot of Wiltshire. 26-10, Salford lead now, and a bit for them to smile about. Not home and dry yet though.
You talked about Mark Gleeson, Baz, and the influence he's having on this game, or the non-influence that he said, but the Salford players have really done a number on him. Normally Thomas Coyle started off at hooker, brought Mike Gleeson on. Obviously they're missing Penkovic, who is a big loss, but in the first half they've targeted this lad. He's come up with 25 tackles, so they're draining his energy, so when he gets the ball in hand he's not as effective.
From the restarts, Philip Luluai brings it forward,
and again big Philip Luluai ran straight at Mark Gleeson, targeting him.
Paul Heighton taking the tackle. Sibbett plays the ball. Robbie Paul. Stuart Littler now, just tackled on the halfway line. Robbie Paul, here's Ulker. Ulker showed it to Luluai. Here is Paul Heighton on the charge in his testimonial season, just playing that ball. Myler puts the kick in. Gardner is herring after that one. It's going to beat them all though.
That was a very intelligent kick from Myler. It's Malcolm Alker who broke the Halifax defence, showed it to a player coming back on the inside, giving Richie Myler the time and space to get a good kick away.
Patterson trying to go the outside way, and the penalty goes against Salford. Myler just hanging on there. I think Wilshire penalised us, possibly.
He's penalised Myler for hands on the ball. Myler in the action of stripping the ball, didn't get off it, didn't release the player quick enough.
So the penalty, a relieving one for Halifax. Craig Stapleton has returned. One formidable front rower leaves and another one takes his place. Gleeson now running across the field. Here's Ben Black. Black showed it to Paul Smith and then gets it away to Gleeson again. Here's Southern. Southern, a little dummy from him, but Jordan Turner wasn't buying that. 3 tackles gone. Promising position for Halifax here. Gleeson, Coyle, Greenwood out wide. 4 tackles gone. As the ball reaches Walsh. And on the last now, Walsh plays the ball. Black stabs a little kick in. It's worked once, it'll work again. And Paul Smith will get the try, or will he? Let's have a look via the video ref, says Dave Merrick. But I think that again, Ben Black has measured that one to perfection. And this time Paul Smith, captain for the day, has got the try, or has he? There he is at the bottom of the screen. Miles onside.
Miles onside. Number 13, Paul Smith, just at the far right of your screen. He's the player who eventually gets the ball down. Another intelligent kick from Ben Black. I've got no problems with that at all.
So Thierry Alibert's had a good look at that and gives the word. It's a try for Paul Smith. He was on the score sheet when we were last here against Lee. Had an outstanding game, in fact, that night. He was playing in the centres, I think, on that occasion. He's at loose forward tonight, and he's got the try that Halifax desperately needed.
He hasn't had much of an influence tonight, Paul Smith, but he'd be delighted with that one. Great awareness, and as I say, players are tracking up that middle channel, knowing that Ben Black, as soon as the Salford defensive line commits itself, if they're there, you can get the ball down, they've got a good chance.
Oh, Haley has missed the conversion attempt. How they are missing Graham Holroyd. That's a couple of kickable ones that they've missed. Holroyd having to sit this one out. 26-14. He's kicked just 1 from 3 so far, Haley. But Paul Smith's try at least has given them some hope.
Ben Black looks the most dangerous player on the pitch at the minute. The Halifax players not doing much off the ball, but Ben Black takes the ball to the line. The change of tempo in his run allows Paul Smith to get over for the try to give them that lifeline that they need. But they've got to start taking them 2 points, and that's why Salford are so clinical. When they get them down, they get the penalties, or they get the tries, they convert the points.
The Australian in his second spell at the club, Ben Black, he really is backed by popular demand, having had a very influential spell with the club in 2004. He's a former Manly junior who went on to play for Wests and North Sydney, but in fact went home after his last spell with Halifax to play for the Burleigh Bears, and then they persuaded him to come back for another crack at it, and Halifax have got another penalty, and Wilshire is furious with himself, really.
John Wilshire trying to wrestle the Halifax player to the ground and get back onside, using the player as leverage. You can't do that. You've got to release and get square at marker. But I really like the look of these sides, both of them using good young British forwards. Mark Flanagan, Joe Walsh, Paul Smith, Richard Varkulis, Stephen Bannister, Luke Adamson, Jordan Turner, Adam Sidlow, great young British forwards.
It's Halifax coming forward again with Goddard. Goddard is tackled just outside the 40. They were looking for another penalty there. Gleeson. Here is Joe Walsh. 4 tackles gone then. And Salford backpedaling again. Here is Ben Black. What's he going to come up with this one? It's another kick, and it's another chase. It's another good kick, and Fitzpatrick is across. And will he get out of trouble? I don't think so. He just has managed to do so. Well done by the Salford City Reds full-back. I thought he was disappearing over the sidelines there.
That was a big play by Carl Fitzpatrick to get back in field of play. The slippy conditions, the Halifax defenders putting pressure on, but this is where the Halifax defenders are trying to force the error. The numbers in, the speed off the line, they're looking for that big shot.
It was another wicked kick from Ben Black.
Great shot. Tremendous shot from Thomas Coyle then. Look at how hard Halifax are working.
So now they're going to go round the outside perhaps. Sidlow trying to take them there. But 4 tackles, it's the last, I beg your pardon. They're on the last, and Ratchford with it. Needs to be a big strong kick downfield, but it's reached Greenwood. Now then, Halifax will bring this ball back, and Greenwood's going across the field at the moment.
But that's the difference. They've been rewarded there. They're back on the halfway line because they work so hard in defence, and they're in the right part of the pitch to attack this Salford side.
Lee Patterson plays the ball. Coyle. Here's Varkulis, and that's another penalty. And Luke Adamson is penalised, and an indication of the pressure that Salford are under. Malcolm Alker's been called over just for a chat with the referee.
And that's because the way that Halifax are playing again, they're playing it with speed, they're putting Salford under pressure, and that's why Luke Adamson gave that penalty away. He's trying to slow down the big forwards from the Halifax team from getting on the front foot and giving Ben Black the options and coming up with them kicks.
Salford ahead 26-14, but Halifax coming back at them again. Varkulis it is who plays the ball. Oh, goes out wide to Patterson. Patterson plays the ball. Back with Ben Black. Black for Greenwood. Greenwood, well, there could have been an appeal for obstruction there. Flanagan didn't exactly try and get out of the way. And Salford on their own try line. Southern. Oh, Coyle takes it just. Gleeson it was, I beg your pardon. Charging for the line now. And are they over the line?
I think that's a try, Bill. Young Thomas Coyle.
It was Coyle.
Jumping out from acting half-back.
If he's got the ball on the line.
The Salford defence very slow to react. Very upward body positions. Right arm. Does he get it down?
Or is he short? It's a tricky call. Let's have a look for video ref Thierry Alibert. I think he's short, and then he's driven further away from it.
This might give us a better look at it. The white line, does it? No, I think you're right, Bill. I think he's just short.
Thomas Coyle then on loan from Wigan at the moment, and playing in that standoff position in the absence of Graham Holroyd. And the ball's on its end, which also doesn't help his cause, or does it?
It doesn't, Bill, and I say it every week. Get your thumb round the ball and you can further it, because you can bring it away from your body.
No try, but they'll continue in possession, right on that try line. So Coyle so close, it's on the last. Now Black with another kick. He's caused chaos with these. That's another decent one. It's going to come up for Gibson, is it? It's not Gibson, it's James Haley, but in fact there's a knock-on from there. They were desperate to get hands on the ball. Gibson was involved as well.
They are what you call blowtorch kicks. The pressure under the ball, and the person that's got to catch it, my God, they've got a wicked job to do.
Salford living dangerously at the moment. And Halifax really have come out in this second half, revved up. Oof! Again, Flanagan putting it in.
Shot from Mark Flanagan again.
That's how close Thomas Coyle was. And it was Sidlow who just, I think,
he just tried to have a little peek over the top, didn't he, see if he'd actually got the ball down. But this is why Halifax have been so good, because the forwards have really dominated Salford. Craig Stapleton now needs to try and get, look, again, the pressure that they're putting on in the face of Richie Myler. He's having a little look up, he was seeing what was in front of him, and the Halifax players are high-fiving each other.
Watch this for a shot.
Well, he saw Richard Varkulis coming at him, and shakes of the head from Sean McRae and Steve Sims alongside him. But this is first versus second, and it's a vital game for Halifax. Oh, and Black has lost that one, it's gone backwards.
He let go of it, he thought he was going into touch then, he thought, I'm going to let go of the ball, the lads are inside of me, and big Frank Watini's on the ball.
It looked marginally forward, did it?
I don't know whether he just lost control of that ball, but either way, the Halifax players were keen enough to get there and pick it up. And they're in a really strong position again. Watch out for Ben Black on the last.
Yeah, more Black magic, that's for sure. Here they come with Gleeson now. It's Thomas Coyle. Coyle, the ball out wide for Patterson. Patterson trying to stay on the field of play. That's the fifth tackle. So then, is it going to be Coyle with the kick this time? It is. Walsh is chasing this. It was Frank Watini who was chasing it as well. And in the end, it was a goalkeeping save from Stuart Littler that got that ball dead. More pressure to come on Salford.
Thomas Coyle again. Anything that Ben Black can do, he thinks he can do better. And look at the amount of players flooding forward. The second half, you're seeing the energy levels lift from the Halifax side, and that's because they're controlling the ball. Dave Larder looks very happy. Matt Callan sending out the instructions. Get the ball, get it. Let's get to the end of the set six and give it big Frank Watine.
Here comes big Frank. I tell you what, National League 1, or National League 2 for that matter, again not disappointing. We've seen some cracking games played in great spirit. And here we go again, and this final quarter to come promises to be another thrilling finish. The ball is forward from Black. Flanagan thought he was in then. The pass was forward though.
Ben Black beginning to mix his game up a little bit. Some of the Salford defenders, Stuart Littler thinks the ball is going behind Flanagan to the next player. That's why he jumps out the line. If Mark Flanagan had just held his run, could have been a different story there for Halifax.
You see those handling errors at the top of your screen. Halifax committing 10 of them, and I would imagine that the vast percentage of them have come in the first half. They've been pretty squeaky clean in this second half.
The good players with Ben Black, what he's doing in the second half, he's mixing his game up. The Salford players are hanging back. They don't know whether he's going to kick the ball through. They don't know whether he's going to put it up high. They don't know whether he's going to go on his own or come up with that pass.
Wait! Frank, you're not square, stay out!
Well, coming up on Saturday evening, another big game from Super League, another important game. Warrington Wolves against the Leeds Rhinos. 7 o'clock on Saturday on Sky Sports 1 and HD1 from the Halliwell Jones. That's to come.
Make sure they get square back.
Here, the kick to come, is it, from Myler? Oh, let's have a go at another one of these, he thinks. See what you can make of this. And Greenwood has made a hash of it.
The conditions just getting a little bit darker now. And Miles Greenwood losing his bearings, losing his orientation. Tries to catch the ball and just fumbles it.
It's hard as a player when things go against you on the pitch and you come up with one mistake and then they keep targeting you. You start to lose your confidence. You've got to gain it back on the training path, and the Salford boys are really targeting Miles Greenwood.
Oh, and the error by Wilshire, and Halifax are furious that advantage hadn't been played, and Dave Merrick holds his hand up and said, and fair dues. I mean, you've got to take your hat off to him.
That's the first time I've ever heard a referee say, that was my fault, I'll hold my hand up there.
He said, I'll hold my hand up.
I'll hold my hand up. I've never heard a referee ever say that.
Do you think somebody will have a word with him?
No. Referees have always got to say, I was in charge, I've made the call there, and you've got to abide by what I say. Good on him though, Dave Merrick.
Get it in! Get it in!
And Halifax will just have head and feed. They thought they'd got wide green spaces to aim for just for a moment. Not so.
Go.
But that's how to diffuse a situation. Oh, and Sidlow comes hurtling in there to make the tackle. And it was on Danny Heaton.
Danny Heaton, two former Widnes players. They'd have been at Widnes at the same time. He came hunting for him then. Came up with the goods.
Halifax going down the very short side there. Goddard managing to keep possession. Here's Heaton again. That's the 5th tackle. Coyle.
You're not Frank, you're not Frank.
Little kick ahead. Frank Watine was trundling through the middle there.
Surrender.
And the kick is well dealt with.
A couple of the words that prop forwards love to hear when it's a kick chase. You're offside, Frank. Although he's working hard from marker.
He is. Denies Matt Gardner any progress there, so Craig Stapleton hurls himself at the Halifax defenders that time.
Still coming for it, Craig.
Sidlow now. Just a little bit of the fire gone out of the Halifax effort at the moment, as you'd anticipate, because it was a big start to this second half and it's paid dividends for them. They are still in the game, but time is now working against them.
But with the ball in hand, it restricted the Salford side to only 29 metres. That shows how important and how strong they were working in defence. The Halifax forward, especially Frank Watine in that last set of 6, really trying to control his opposite number.
Varkulis takes the tackle. Appeals for some sort of assistance from the referee there. Nothing doing. 4 tackles gone. Gleeson just looks up and sees what's ahead. Black just sport for choice a bit then, but then the pass finds Haley, and Haley on the last plays the ball. Now then Coyle kicks into the corner. Gardner comes for it, and Gardner pouches that one very safely indeed.
That was well taken under the pressure from Goddard. He commanded that ball and he knew that he was under pressure. But here goes John Wiltshire.
Wiltshire cantering through a gap in the Halifax defence there. And now Gardner.
I think Gardner ran out.
Wait.
Gleeson hoping to catch a penalty, hoping to catch him offside.
Sidlow, 4 tackles gone. They're just outside the Halifax 40 now. Here's Ratchford, outstanding in their victory over Lee last weekend. The kick from Ratchford, chased by White. Gibson fields it. Gibson runs it out of danger. Ratchford on the chase makes the tackle.
Damien Gibson, too long in the tooth, too long in the game to be caught by a kick like that. Great composure, just picked it up and got out of his own end goal. He knows Paul White is chasing him. Great play, Damien Gibson.
Watine on the charge. There is Damien Gibson. He's celebrating his testimonial season. So too is Paul Heighton of the Salford City Reds, and must mention a big night in his testimonial calendar coming up at the Willows next Tuesday, when the Reds, the Forever Reds organisation is co-hosting a fans forum at the Willows next Tuesday night, and taking part David Watkins, Keith Fielding and Chris Hesketh. That should be some night at the Willows, and that's in aid of Paul Heighton's testimonial appeal.
I've got a confession to make, Bill. I played rugby union with Keith Fielding at Marple not long back.
The penalty. Is it the penalty? I beg your pardon, the knock-on.
Lost the ball. Philip Lulawai looking to play the ball quicker. He's looking at the referee. Hands were in by big Frank Watine and John Goddard. You can see as the hands on the ball, he's looking, he's saying, "Ref, I want to play this ball."
Let's go, Thomas.
He goes to put it down, loses control.
Out.
So Halifax benefiting from that decision, but not able to take advantage of it, and they could ultimately be punished here, because Ratchford has got away. Patterson is going to come back and cut him down. Ratchford has got support, or has he? He will just slither his way to the try line, and it's going to need the video ref Thierry Alibert to adjudicate on this one as well.
The question will be, is it a double movement? At first look, I don't believe so. I think his momentum took him over. He had both hands covering the ball, didn't appear to promote the ball that little bit more. True, he did bounce, but I don't think it was anything other than momentum.
I think it was a treble movement.
But I think we might look at it again. Damien Gibson Goods on a good line, needs a nice soft pass.
I think they're looking to see how the ball ended up in Ratchford's hands anyway.
Can't see there's nothing wrong with that, mate. Damien Gibson just loses the ball. Here's the crucial part. Both hands on the ball. He doesn't promote that belt. That's a try.
Yeah, he just slithers over the try line, really. The pitch so greasy and moist. And the try is awarded. And Ratchford, seizing on that loose ball, has scored the try that I think will put this game to bed for the Salford City Reds and quell off this Halifax uprising.
It may well put Halifax to bed, but I don't think it'll dampen their spirits. They're still going right till the last second. Stephen Ratchford shows a hell of a lot of pace here. Fakes the pass to Paul White. A lot of maturity, makes a really sensible decision not to pull the ball away from his body. He just lets momentum do the work with the greasy conditions. There's a lot of moisture in the air. Bit of a downpour just after dinner. But that's a well-deserved and well-worked try.
And Wilshere, this to add 2 more points to his tally. He's had another profitable night with the boot as John Wilshere, round the corner kicking style. And 32-14 the scoreline now in favour of the Salford City Reds. This will extend their lead at the top of Cooperative National League One for Sean McRae's side.
On paper you would expect Salford to be probably about this amount of points better, but look at how many Halifax players are still in the screen. There's still 2 players hurrying back to try and deny, and I think Matt Calland, Martin Hall deserve a lot of credit. They've had a lot to put up with this week with injuries.
Play on, says the referee, as that ball ricochets around. Well, Halifax still have a bonus point to play for. They are out of range at the moment with this scoreline, but they could at least come away with that.
They need another score. They need to start moving in numbers, supporting Ben Black. Anytime Ben Black gets the ball, push up with him.
And they're trying again. Playing the ball just in front of those posts, and Salford are all off, not square. So the penalty, just what Halifax wanted.
And that's where Mark Gleeson is so clever. His speed of thought, not only the speed off the mark, but when he sees that the markers aren't set, he'll have a dash.
They're going for it. Halifax, the leading point scorers at the moment in Cooperative National League One. Looking for some more points here. And plenty of tackles available to them at the moment. It's with Coyle, but Wilshere.
They're setting up at that point on the left part of the pitch. Watch Ben Black now.
Go! Philip, stay out!
And Black is there. Misses out the first couple of players and finds Greenwood, and Greenwood finds a gap in the defence.
No way! No.
Almost through there, the full-back. Had to run round David Wrench as well, but here they come again. The ball out wide, and Gibson will get a second try. There's no doubting that one. And lovely work again by Halifax, well created. And Salford was stretched, and Damien Gibson, with those poacher's instincts of his, there to finish it off. Takes his tally to the season to 12.
It's quite a simple show of hands that eventually results in a try, but the danger came when a team set at one particular part of the pitch, shipped it over to the right. Ben Black stood back, directing his troops, telling them where to go. Look, get me to the left, get me to the right, give me this, give me that. Bob Ontez, he's the main man. He's the definite go-to player for Halifax tonight.
James Haley hasn't had the best night with the boots. If they needed him to land one, it's now. That one has got better prospects, but again, just wide of the target. And Haley misses with that, but 32-18 the scoreline. Still need another score.
Come on!
And you can't write them off that they finish so strong in the games. But Ben Black attracts so many Salford defenders. That's why they were short out wide, and that's why Damien Gibson scored that try. They do finish very strong. They scored 12 points against Widnes in the last 10 minutes. Against Salford, they were losing, as we've said before in commentary, 24-0. They never know when they're beating this side. And in the players like Damien Gibson, who's in your screen there, they've got the players who've been on the top stage before, and they know what to do.
It is 5 tries to 4 in Salford's favour, and the goal kicking, sad to say, is it's not what's only made the difference, but it could have been a very different story for this Halifax side if Graham Holroyd had been out there to land these goals.
Anybody that puts their hand up to take those goals knows the responsibility and understands if they don't get them, they come in for some criticism, but for me, just to have a goal, they deserve some credit.
Varkulis is held, and that's the 4th tackle. Black, little chip and chase from him this time. He really is pulling them out, and Ratchford read that one. Black appealing he was taken out. Nothing doing, says the referee.
He's got the full box of tricks, Ben Black, hasn't he? We've seen all the full range of kicks here. A nice little chip, accusing Philip Lulai of not getting out of the way, but I think it was more a case of Ben Black running towards Philip Lulai, looking for the penalty.
Well, the last time Salford were here, it was a close fought affair in 2002, April 2002. They only came away 15-12 winners. It's looking a bit more comfortable here tonight with 7 minutes to go. Myler, another steepling kick. Again, Greenwood is under it, and he's clung on to that one.
That was better by Miles Greenwood. Again, Richie Myler putting pressure under him, but what did he do? He looked up, concentrated on the ball, and took it with 2 hands. Better play by Miles Greenwood, and they're pushing up on that next play, looking for that little half break that he can get involved in and come up with the try, or get in the right field position.
They've knocked the ball on, Terry. Good defence from Salford, forces that error. Philip Lulai taking it up nice and big and strong. Will they do what Halifax have done? Set at a point on the pitch and look to play long passes.
Jordan Turner is tackled. And the Red supporters finding their voice now. They can see the finishing line in sight. And the penalty against Halifax, David Wrench penalised. Just trying to delay things a bit there, and I think they will go for goal. Wilshire will just kick another 2 points, or attempt to kick another 2 points.
David Wrench putting all his weight on the Salford player, trying to gain that extra second. And it's at that point in the game now where players are tired. They do need that extra second, and Salford are just as tired. They've chose to take the 2 points, keep the scoreboard ticking over. They think they've got this game in the bag now.
Salford unbeaten in their last 5 games with 4 wins and a draw, extending that sequence here tonight. In fact, they've only lost twice all season in National League One, and Widnes and Whitehaven, the 2 sides to beat them. Halifax would have fancied their chances here tonight, that's for sure. Wilshire, though, 2 more points from the boot of John Wilshire, and again puts that bonus point beyond Halifax. Salford leading 34-18.
And it seems so cruel, doesn't it? But the Salford side don't want Halifax to get that 1 point. They want to keep the distance between the sides. But you've got to credit the way that Halifax have come out fighting. Matt Callan doesn't look too impressed there, but his players have given it him all in this second half. He's gone out there, he's asked them to play with more impact in the middle of the park, control the big Salford forwards, and that's what they've done.
But again, credit to Salford, because they've been up against it tonight, as they have whenever we've seen it on Sky Sports. A TV game, they're the Salford City Reds, everybody wants to knock them off, and even though Halifax have had 5 key players missing tonight, Shad Royston, Dave Larder, Graham Holroyd, Dana Wilson, Sean Penkovic, sorry, I just had to get all 5 out.
this Salford team, a lot of these guys are playing for Super League contracts, so they've got to go out, they've got to impress Sean McRae and Steve Sims, because they're playing for the futures. They've done the stuff in National League, it's now gone against them. They've been awarded a Super League licence for 2009, and they're playing for a contract.
Do you think Sean McRae will go with the majority of this squad for next year, Tez?
I think he'll reward a lot of these players for getting them to the top of the table in this National League, and he will reward them, yes.
And Myler goes for 1 point. It doesn't come off, and it's back to 1, says Dave Merrick. There was an attempt to play at that ball from Halifax, so the pressure will keep on in the last 5 minutes here, as Salford look to extend their lead at the top of the table. 4 points clear before tonight's game. And here they come again with Ratchford, one of the second half try scorers for this Salford City Red side. Robbie Paul now. Robbie Paul, a little step from him. He's denied the try. He was almost over the line. Good work from Greenwood. Got himself underneath Robbie Paul, and that's going to be a penalty against Halifax for the shove.
And I bet they go for 2 points again. Robbie Paul still got that magic footwork. Still manages to break the line. Miles Greenwood holds on for dear life, probably a second too long. He's late to get up and adjust himself, and Halifax surrender the ball.
Look at the frustration between Paul Southern and Miles Greenwood there. Still bickering at each other because the penalty that they were under, but that's because of the footwork from Robbie Paul. He put them in that position, and look at them now, they won't even talk to each other like a married couple.
Robbie Paul has still got it. It was a bit of a doubt going into this game, but very nearly got over the try line there. He added the Northern Rail Cup Winners' Medal to his haul of glory.
He's won everything, isn't he? He's so
that was the one
greedy.
that eluded him.
He's so greedy.
He nicked a couple of grand final rings and a couple of semi-final defeats off me as well, but a great bloke, Robbie, a great ambassador, and can still offer this team and this division and even Super League next year something with footwork like that.
Wilshire with the penalty, that takes him to 20 personal points in the game, and just 2 misses from 8 attempts. That's not a bad record. And there's Robbie Paul's record.
And that's not a bad record either, is it?
Well, add the Northern Rail to that.
But even like Robbie Paul didn't play last week, but it's his calm and influence in the changing room, and what he does, what he says during the week, and his training as well.
That was knocked on. You were talking about Salford preparing for Super League. I noticed that they've started already with the signing of Ray Cashmere.
Ray Cashmere from North Queensland Tigers, a big front rower, a very, very good player who I'm sure he will set Super League alight. He's a big, tough, uncompromising player who's looking forward to coming over here.
He's a carpenter by trade, so they probably want to work on the new stadium as well.
He's got a job there, hasn't he?
Yes.
But as well, Bill, the young forwards, the young players that Salford have put the foundations in, and if you look at them here now, Bannister again, he's one of those young players. They've got a great foundation.
Well, Halifax defiant to the end. Paul Smith, whose second half try gave them hope. They really did start this second half strongly and certainly unsettled Salford, but Salford withstood the pressure. And Matt Calland can take a lot of pride from this, but I don't think that's enough for him. He knows that really first place is going to be beyond them now.
He wanted the points, but he will be impressed with the second half performance. But in the games during this season, the second half performance is what's been very, very strong. Sean McRae, again, will be happy with the full 80 minutes. Defensively in the second half, the big guys have stuck to the guns in the middle of the pitch, and the guys on the fringes like Richie Myler and Robbie Paul and Malcolm Alka especially played well for them.
Well, Salford might have got that Super League licence in the bag already. They can already think about a Super League place next season, but they aim to ensure that they do justify that by winning this Cooperative National League 1 Grand Final, taking first place and winning the Grand Final, and they've taken a big step towards that tonight. Have Sean McRae's side. He and Martin Hall shake hands, and Sean McRae's team put distance, good distance between themselves and Halifax at the top of Cooperative National League 1 with this win. And despite all the absentees, 5 first-choice players, Graham Holroyd failing a late fitness test, Halifax have managed to push Salford, well, not all the way, but a fair way down the track this evening. And it's taken a big effort from the Reds to get over the line. But the platform for it, I think, was the first half effort.
The first half and the completion rate that Halifax shown in that first half just wasn't good enough against this Salford side who was so clinical. Malcolm Alker in the screen was so pivotal in the middle of the park. You had Robbie Paul that was mastering on the left-hand side, Richie Marler on the right, but the Halifax players, you've got to give them credit. Missing Penkovic, who was a big player, but Graham Holroyd as well, the big director of play, and also the kicker. If you feel if Graham Holroyd was playing, might come up with some more conversions, Bill.
Well, here's the man who showed how to do it.